Anthea, when I talked to you 4 years ago in Athens, you were married, but you had no children. And so now you have two. So a lot, a lot has happened to you in these 4 years. Um, why don't we start though with where and when you were born?
Mm. I was born in Athens in 1979, so that makes me 41.
And what month? Because I'm interested in your astrological sign.
July, I'm a Cancer.
And do you feel like a sensitive, homebody, caring, emotional person?
Well, yes, but it also depends sometimes, Yes, but overall, yes, I think that I have these characteristics.
Hmm. Um, and what about your education and work history? What did you study and what kind of work do you do?
I have a bachelor's degree in interior design,
Hmm.
and I worked as an interior designer for several years. I've been working since very young. Um, then I kind of moved towards event planning that was kind of linked with the design. So I was, decorating events and planning them. And then at some point, the economical crisis came in Greece. So from one year to the other, I lost both my day job and my freelancing clients because the shops started closing down. I didn't have any more windows to decorate. No more, weddings where people would, spend money in the planning. Uh, so I found myself from being overworked to no work in less than a year. Uh, so, well, I was unemployed for a while, but because I cannot sit for long, I decided to try starting something new, something that I had in my mind for many years, but I never had time to really, uh, put it together. And this was the touristic business I'm now at.
And
Which
what's the name of the business and what's the website just in case people are curious if they come to Athens?
the websites are theathensinsiders.com and greeceinsiders.travel. And this is it's a travel agency offering complete travel packages to the whole of Greece. But the way it started and it continues to be the core of the business is also the themed tours, the themed and tailored tours that we design that are quite special and are based to the interest of each individual particularly.
The tour that I did, I was really interested in the uprisings in the squares that started in Tunisia and went to Egypt and Greece and Spain. And there were just three of us, and our guide was fantastic. And what I loved about Athens Insiders is the guides aren't like, I have this thing I say every time, and this look at here and look at here, and let's stop here to shop. It wasn't like that at all. It was very thoughtful and intelligent, and as you say, tailored for what I was interested in. It was really special. It was really different than generic stock. The person has said it a million times. Not not very heartfelt. So I really felt like being friends with you all.
I'm glad this is the experience you have and this is what you remember because this is exactly what we wanted to and what we want to be doing. We always say that we never want to have a tape and play it. It's not a tape.
Right.
It's rather, creating actual connection with our guests and try to be friends at the most possible extent anyway.
What other themes have people requested besides political, economic tours?
Well, political economic is a difficult theme. It's not very common actually.
Mm.
It's more usual to people are quite interested in the culinary tradition of Greece because it's quite famous, the country, for this. So we have a big selection of different tours and ideas that have to do with food, drinks, wine, beer, spirits. And then art, contemporary art, the street art. Of course, the history in archaeology, this is a section on its own. But even there, even in the standard, sometimes you might think that the Acropolis is a standard, is a must-see. But even there, we try to tailor it because the Acropolis is there for thousands of years. There are many things that happened up there, different eras of the site. So again, we try to tailor it depending on the interests, without, of course, neglecting the must talk topics. For example, I now have a request from a group of people that are really interested in the World War II events. So we'll not go through the ancient history that much, but to the really newer history of the city.
How many employees are there now?
Well, this time is a bit difficult due to the COVID challenge. We have all our employees still in place, thankfully. We have 12 people in the office, and we're 20 altogether with our drivers and guides. And these are our standard employees. Which is quite impressive. I still don't believe it that we have all these people. We started as 3 a few years ago. So it's great. However, due to the COVID situation, everyone is in suspension right now. But we hope that we will get back.
Where are tourists coming from? What countries now during COVID?
We have, for us, we had a 95% decrease of our work in 2020 because we work mainly with the US market. So even if people wanted to come, they couldn't. We had many German and French travelers during the summer. But again, the season was very limited because the travel ban was lifted quite late in the season. So it was rough for everyone in the tourism business. Thankfully, we have had quite some support from the government and the European Union, some financial support. So businesses didn't have to go down, at least. Not everyone.
Do you find that there are national characteristics, that there may seem like stereotypes, but the Germans are very officious and the Americans are loud and spoiled, or the Brits are polite? I mean, can you say, oh yeah, we're getting this group from this country, we can expect that, or not?
Well, over the years of experience, we do see some patterns, but this you can never be sure about anything because people are people and they're all different. So it doesn't mean anything that someone is coming from a specific country. There might be a pattern, but we never go by this because before we meet the person.
Mm-hmm. How did you meet Alex?
Actually, we met at high school. We were friends since, I don't know, 14 years old when we were, but we didn't. We went in a sentimental affair many years later when we were at our 30s. Until then, we were friends. But in 2009, we went on a trip, a life-changing trip. It was myself, Alex, Natalie, who is our colleague, the third founder of the Insiders, and a couple of other friends. And we went to a road trip in Turkey, Syria, and Jordan. This was a really different trip, and it changed us. It bonded us in a different way, and it also brought me and Alex together.
So when you met him in high school, you thought, oh, I like him, he's a friend, but there was no particular attraction.
He has to come and tell you the story.
Okay. Okay. All right. We'll come back to that. So, what happened on the trip to Turkey and Syria and Jordan that changed the chemistry between you and Alex?
Well, I think that yes, I think it was the right time between us. We were both in a place that I think we were ready for this. It was the right time in our lives. Yeah, and it was also a trip that brought us quite close together and, allowed us to get to know each other in a different level. Because it was a challenging experience. It was a trip, a really different trip, especially the Syria part. It was before the war in Syria. All the feelings were
magnified.
Yes, that's the word. And there was an attraction that just became stronger and stronger there.
But it wasn't there earlier. You didn't feel that until Syria?
It was, this was coming and going because the story is that when we met, Alex fell in love with me when we were at school. But he's 1 year younger. And this is a big thing in high school, it's not... So now if he tells you the story, he will say that I was chasing her for 2 years and she wouldn't. So yes, so we became friends, and I really liked him, but I wouldn't think about
he was like together. He's a baby.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe it was also the social stigma in my mind. I'm not sure how to, but it kind of wasn't an option for me.
No, I understand. It's like that in high school. Yeah, I understand. And then you went to different universities?
We went, but we continued being friends. We were also together in the Boy Scouts, so we had a lot of, we spent a lot of time together in the summer time as well. And then at some point, well, Alex, when we grew older, he started being very popular with girls. So at some point, when we grew older, we were more to over 20 or something like this. I was feeling attracted to him, but I was a bit afraid because I was sure that he would hurt my feelings at that point. So I never tried. We continued being friends. So there was this bit of back and forward among us. So there had always been something there to the one or the other, but then at some point the time was right.
Got it. And neither of you married before. You're both in your first marriage.
Marriage, yes, but I think that the time was, I mean, it was far better that we came together at this age because we came after having experiences of other relationships, and this made it possible, I think, because if we didn't have the experiences, I'm not sure if we would have made it so far.
Mm-hmm. Did the having other relationships made you appreciate each other, or what did you learn from those other romances?
For me, at least, I can speak for me. I had, there were many things that I could appreciate, and I could understand more, apart from the feelings. I could also understand, with my mind more solidly what it is that, why I really want to be with this person.
And why was that? How would you spell out what you understood intellectually why you wanted to be with him, not just attraction?
Well, I realized how many common ground we have together in terms of the way we have grown up. I think that the fact that we have similar political views is also very important. And as the years go by, for me, I realize more and more in what a good place his heart is.
That's beautiful. Well, when you started Athens Insiders, the business, were you a couple or were you just friends at that point?
We were a couple, but he wasn't in the business at the beginning. He was working in the banking sector in a big corporation, bank, financial things anyway. He was also studying on the same time, so he was a bit over the top with everything. And I was unemployed, so for a few months I just stayed home doing nothing, and then I started, all this. And in the beginning he was, okay, this was something that we had discussed together over our trips, how nice it would be to create something that will show the real Athens to the guests and not only a canned experience. But then when I started with a couple of other friends who were together in the beginning, he was kind of making fun of me because we were going over every day. We were going out strolling in Athens, checking for all the shops or the restaurants or the eating a bit. He was like, okay, come on, this is a business or you're just going out with your friends, And I was like, we have to make, to check everything. And anyway, but he liked the fact that I was being a bit more active. And it took a couple of years because it's really difficult. We started from the absolute zero with a zero amount of money. So everything was, our personal work in the company. But at some point it started to grow and it started being really difficult. And the people we started with, it was me and other three. The one is Natalie. The other two, well, when it starts to be very, when you start with a vision, it's nice, but when this vision starts to be really solid, and when it starts to be very demanding, in terms of personal time and a lot of work. Not everybody want to invest the same in this. So at some point, we ended up, being 3 out of the 4, and then we started even having some issues as 3. So it was this time when Alex actually stepped in, and we had a change. He said, "Okay, maybe I will be the third, so I can help a bit when the other person was leaving." But he still had his own work, so he would just help a little bit. And at some point, it started being really, it started, growing and growing. And he took the leap. He left his job, and this was amazing because this was an amazing support to me. It was, a leap of faith because there was nothing back then. We didn't actually have any revenues. But he believed in it. He said, "Okay, we'll do it." And it was very, very challenging. This was about at the time that you were here, actually, because we found ourselves in a storm of having a tremendous amount of work, being alone, didn't have any way to, to hire someone to help or anything like that. And revenue started coming, but this would be reinvested in the business. So for a couple of years, we had almost no income. And it was, this was really, really rough. But I don't know, we made it.
I'll say. And then the trouble with being in the same work is it's hard to ever turn it off. I mean, because you could talk about it 24/7 if you let yourself. So do you have, like, at dinner time we don't talk about the business, or how do you organize it?
We were 24/7 all in about the business. At some point, I was sleeping, it was 2 o'clock at night, and an email came and he woke me up. He was like, "Wake up, you have to see this." So yes, there was no off time until the kids came. This was very, very also difficult for us because we had to reassess everything to change the way we were operating, and it took some time. It was a shock for Alex and the rest. Okay, when I left, when I gave birth, because all of a sudden I wasn't there and my mind wasn't there. And this was a shock for me as well. I was like, where is my mind?
Because you're so tired, right? If you're woken up every 3 hours around the clock, it's hard to think straight.
Yes, it was extremely tired. I was sleepless, but still, I would wake up to do whatever I could do. But yes, now after 3.5 years and 2 kids, at least now we have managed to convince ourselves that we have to have some off time, and this is when we are with the children. When we try not to talk about work, not always feasible.
Do you work from home now, or do you go to the office to work? And if so, who takes care of the kids?
We work from home most of the time since last March. We're very fortunate because my mother is helping us a lot. The grandmother is she's great, and we have also a lady helping us a bit, because when we are especially due to the lockdown, even if we had to work, the kids, the big ones, couldn't go to school, so we had two of them inside the house, full of energy. Difficult times.
So you have the 3.5-year-old, and how old is the baby?
He's almost 2, actually. He's 21 months now.
I did a book called 50-50 Parenting, or what was in 50-50 Marriage, and one of the men said having a baby is like getting hit in the head with a golf ball.
Yeah.
It's really transformative. Every once in a while, well, I interviewed a couple who said, oh no, they slept from the first day and it wasn't like a big transformation. But for most of us, just the sleep deprivation alone is like being hit in the head with a golf ball.
Yeah, no. For me, I still cannot, I was used to being so focused in work for so many hours per day, and now I'm a bit lost because I don't know how to, I cannot perform as I used to, and I don't know how to do it. I don't know how I will make it. Now, it's, because now I hope so. I hope that eventually the business will come back, the work will come back, and then, it's 1 year now we didn't actually have work. There is always something to do, but we didn't have all the stress of the, requests and having people here, traveling in Greece.
Are the kids sleeping through the night now?
The big one, yes. The baby, he wakes up a couple of times in the night. But we are in a very, very good phase right now, because at some point they were both waking up all the time. It was, the first year was, rough.
Right. I know what that's like. How do you organize childcare between you and Alex? Like, the hard thing is that mother's nurse, and so they're the natural ones to wake up with the kid every so often hours, and sometimes the dad can sleep. But how have you organized taking care of little ones?
Yeah, well, the night is mine. Because of the nursing, I'm still breastfeeding. The truth is that what I did and I still do to save myself is that we are doing co-sleep with the kids. So, when they were, the big one now she's in her room, but until she was 2, and then when the baby came, I have them in my bed by me. So at least I don't have to, exactly wake up. They just hug them, and they breastfeed and they sleep again. So this is I wouldn't, I don't, if I had to, bottle feed them, I don't think I would have survived.
Yeah, I tried that, but I couldn't sleep because I was afraid I was going to squish the baby, But I'm glad you made it so you can sleep.
I actually did a patent, and I kind of made an extension to the bed. So there was far more space, and it was, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So how do you keep romance alive in the face of the demands of 2 little kids? Is it possible?
It's coming back. I think that for a period it was almost impossible. But yes, I think that, now that, I'm a little bit more rested and I'm sleeping better, And the fact that, now the kids, the little one has also grown up, so we're going in a smoother phase. It's easier for us as well. We were planning to have our first weekend away last year, just before COVID arrived. So this is still in the future plans.
Oh, you haven't had it yet.
No. No, because we were planning it, and then there was a lockdown, and then, okay, it was bumpy.
Got it. Um, are you going to have more kids, or two is it?
I think that two is it. I love them. I would have a third. I would gladly have a third if I didn't feel that I'm old. I mean, on the one, they came in the exact right time, at least for the business, because if they had come a few years ago, I don't know if we had ever made it to do what we did with our work. It came by, I mean, it wasn't planned. We were trying to have a kid since years ago, but they came on the right time.
How nice.
Yes, but on the other hand, they came late.
Well, but maybe it's not late. Maybe it's perfect.
It's perfect. But I feel that I don't know if it's a personal anyway. It's a personal thing. But it really hits me hard when I realize my age, in comparison to their age, and how old I'm going to be when they will be at my age, for example. So all this, it hits me. I mean, it's difficult for me to.
What I think about that is chronological age isn't as important as your energy level and health and vitality. And you could have someone who is 40 who would be like they're 50, and you could have someone who's 40 who could be like they're 30. So I think we should throw out chronological age and focus on your health, and your vibrancy, which is top notch.
This is very true, and this is also, I mean, I also feel that I don't have the energy I should have for the kids. I feel that if I were 10 years younger, when I was 10 years younger, I had so much more energy.
Not if you're being waken up throughout the night. I don't care how old you are. If you don't have enough sleep, you don't have the same energy level. My bias is that it's a sleep factor, not an age factor.
I would agree on that, yes, because it gives me a hard time, the lack of sleep.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Alex, where and when were you born?
1980 in Manchester, England.
Why?
Because my parents were studying at the time. My father actually was studying in England, in Manchester.
And what month? I'm interested in your astrological sign.
The end of May, 24th of May, I'm twins.
Like me.
Okay.
So there's 5 of us here.
Yeah.
And then how long were you in England? I mean, when you were little?
Until 3 years old.
So you don't remember it?
No, not at all. Nothing. I remember our first house, our first home when we returned. My first memories are from the first home.
In Athens?
We back in Athens, yeah.
And then what was your education career path?
I became a self-educated, let's say, web designer for 8 years, and then I got some courses of computer networks, but I didn't like it so much. And then I got a job in a multinational company, Greek multinational company, which I was in the, let's say, in the branch of supporting POSs for banks. So I did some graphic design, some project management for some projects, and I left because Anthea had already started Athens Insiders, and I thought that it had really good chances to be able to, to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
So in the meantime, when I was in the company, I studied also business administration at the American College of Greece, it was courses in English actually, in American.
Was that to get a master's degree?
Yeah, that was for a bachelor degree actually.
Yeah. And then how did you and Anthea meet?
We met at high school actually. When she came to the high school, it's not high school. It was okay. We have the elementary school in Greece, and then we have two parts of high school: the junior and the senior. Let's say so.
We
It's
have
3 years in the junior and 3 years in the senior. So I think I first met Anthea in the first year of the junior high school. Let's say.
Yeah. And what did you think? Was it like love at first sight, or you thought, oh, she's whatever?
Actually, it was interesting for me. I think that I got interested, but in this age, you might be interested because you see, a nice pair of shoes, or so it was interesting, and I think that I get to know her when we both found ourselves on the Boy Scouts, in the same Boy Scouts team. I think this was the well.
And then did you think, oh, I want to ask this girl out and go on a date, or did you just think, oh, she's my friend?
She was older than me, so she wouldn't look at me, because this age is just 1 year of difference is important. So I looked for other girls. Younger.
And then you went to different universities, but you stayed friends?
And the point is that the friendship from the Boy Scout team, it's weird, but it's a friendship that stays for long. I mean, even now we have a COVID quarantine group with our friends. And actually 9 out of 10, or almost everyone, is from the Boy Scouts friends that we had at the time. So, Greek schools, I think, are not similar to maybe Canadian or US schools. I mean, Greek schools, you're just going there for the hours of your classes. You don't get to know each other much more, because you don't have more. You're not doing more things with the other kids. I mean, you just enter the class, you have some friends, but it's not like the schools are small. It's not like we have actors teams, or we have football teams, and the schools are small. And you don't get to know the other kids a lot. So having the Boy Scouts actually was filling this gap, to have some closer friends that you had many common experiences to share, like going out for excursions, 2-3 day excursions with tents, sleeping in the tent all together. It's something that, working in teams, trying to become a leader of the team or, behave as a leader or. So this created a really nice bond among us. It's not that it happens always. I mean, we have friends that we have lost from the Boy Scouts. They
but
took their own way, but
there is a core that is very strong there.
Yeah. Actually, if I wouldn't be with Anthea, I wouldn't be in the core. I lost those people and I found them through you.
Do they call it Boy Scouts, or do they just say Scouts if girls are involved?
It's Scouts here.
It's Scouts. I think that
there used to be boys and girls, but now it's just Scouts because it's mixed.
I think it became mixed when we were young. When you were 10 years old, it wasn't mixed. Maybe when you became 12,
we were like,
yeah.
So what happened that got you together as a romantic couple after all those years of friendship?
Actually, we were, we're on and off friends. I mean, we're not the closest friends for all the years. Maybe I found you, I mean, we came together. I mean, it was a very, this story is very, interesting in the sense that, our kids maybe will feel that, how life is, the chain of events in a lifetime leads to weird paths, let's say. So we had a common friend, Alex, who found Anthea and then found me, and how did this happen? And he said, let's go out for a beer. So it turned out that we went out, the three of us. Me, Alex,
because we had lost each other for a couple of years.
He was also a Boy Scout.
I found the other Alex in the bank accidentally. We said, let's go out for beers. Let's call this Alex as well. All out for beers. And I was like, my brother is going to Syria. I want to go. Who's coming?
Yes, and the other Alex was, he's very
mainstream, I think.
He's very he's very anti-Arab, pro-Israel. So he was like, what, are you going to the Arabs in Syria? Are you crazy? So we had fun with him.
Oh, he went? He went on the trip?
No, we had fun during the beers.
During the beers.
Okay.
No, he didn't come. So yes, we arranged to go to Syria. Why not? It's going to be an experience. It's going to be nice. We also had two other friends joining us. So I think that it was, for me it was within, I had recently broke up with my ex-girlfriend, so I wanted some adventure, and this would be pure adventure. And we have a common friend, Konstantinos, who is also, he's the guy to put you in trouble, but laugh in a laughing way to get you out of the trouble. But you will experience the whole thing, and Konstantinos will be, smiling to the bouncers coming at us to beat us. He will smile, he will say some jokes, and the bouncers will laugh and we will leave. But the whole situation will happen. So Konstantinos is the perfect travel companion in weird places. So, yes, and we also had with us Natalie, the other partner of Athens Insiders, who also wanted some adventure, I think. Yeah. So we tried to bring Konstantinos and Natalie together, but they didn't want, so yeah.
It
didn't work.
So what happened on that trip that changed your dynamic between the two of you?
Anthea will tell you.
Actually, I was the one that made the move, so
You admit it, no?
I do. Yeah, well, to be honest, I think that during the trip we were very relaxed. I don't know if we were, either of us was thinking of any future of this. And it went very slowly in the beginning. And even when we came back, I don't think we saw it as something with a future for a while. Eh?
I don't know. Yeah, probably. I don't know. Yes.
Well, then what happened to make it seem like, oh, we want to be together forever, live happily ever after?
We never said so. The forever is, it's a.
But you did get married.
Yeah, eventually.
Well,
After all.
we are. I don't know if we are a very characteristic couple example. I'm not. Also, I never thought I would get married, and I never had this in my mind as a dream. On the contrary, I was extremely afraid of this commitment. So I never. It wasn't, in my plans exactly, and I was happy that, with Alex we were in a relaxed stage. We were living together. We were, I, for me it was, it was enough. But at some point maybe you want to
I think
do
that we
something
just
different.
wanted to throw a party.
Well, we were trying to have a kid, and the kid wasn't coming. So at some point, Alex said, "Look, the kid isn't coming. Let's throw a huge party. Let's get married and bring all our friends from abroad that, they're studying and working abroad. Let's give them a good reason so everyone will come and we throw the party of a lifetime."
Ah.
So it was.
So what made it the party? You had a band and food, and what else did you do that made it a lifetime event?
I think that the most interesting part of the party was actually we were living in a house with a very big garden. So we could have the party in our garden, which is not a very common thing to do in Greece. I mean, usually you will rent a hall or something to throw a party. So it was really interesting that it was in a house, in a garden, and actually I think that what everybody is remembering, because at least for the first hours, because after they stopped remembering, is how much we drank in a very, in a civilized way. I mean, here in Greece, we don't get, we don't use to get.
We don't drink to get drunk.
Yes, we drink to have fun. So, yes, nobody got really, really drunk in a bad way. And I think that everybody enjoyed them. We were a lot of people, many generations, and I think that everybody danced together and had fun together and drank shots together. The point I think that this was that everybody had a really nice time, and it was in years of recession. It was in years of people were not.
It was hard years.
Yeah, so it was a reason for everybody to get drunk and have fun and
dance a lot, and we made it. People came from abroad.
Yeah.
And it was amazing that we had all our friends there and our families. It was multi-generation, even grandmothers were there.
And seeing your parents playing with the water pistols. It was fun.
Oh, that was great. So what shifted from being friends to romance is Athenia made a move in Syria. Is that accurate?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah. Okay. She didn't rape me, but yeah.
Okay, thanks. But no, for me, from the moment we actually went to Syria, I started feeling really attracted for some reason.
And there wasn't anybody else. Many options.
A lot of times we are influenced in our selection of a mate in reaction to or repetition of our parents' patterns. And I wonder what you see in terms of what you've done differently or the same in mate selection and your relationship from your parents.
Yeah. This goes to me or to both of us.
Both.
You have those questions.
No, both. Me. Well, physically, you could say that maybe Alex, maybe he looks a bit like my dad. Maybe.
Let's see the picture.
To be honest, because I lost my dad when I was 16 years old, 15, and this was something that it took me many years to get over. I think that the first relationships of my life were the relationships I was looking for my dad, and I'm very glad that I feel that I broke this bond, and and Alex is not the dad I'm looking for. I do see, some characteristics. I mean, he's very stable, and my dad was the stable part of the relationship in my parents' relationship. But I don't think that this is something that I saw from the beginning. This is something I am more realizing now with the kids and everything. He's the one with all the program in his mind for our future and our even our pension. But this is, I don't think that I was looking for this back then. I told you before that I think that we came together, when we came together, it was, the timing was right. And, in that aspect, for me, I think it was, yeah, I'm glad I was not looking for my dad at this point.
What year was the Syria trip? How long have you been together as a couple?
It was 2009. Yeah. We've been together 11 years. 11 something, 11 and a half, yeah.
Okay. Alex, what about your parents' influence?
My parents got divorced when I was 6. They got remarried when I was, let's say, what was that? When I was 12 to 14, let's say. And they also I have some brothers and sisters from the second marriage of both of them. I have 2 sisters from the side of my father and 3 brothers from the side of my mother.
So they were married, they were divorced, they married someone else, divorced them, and married again.
Yeah, and they had, children with the other marriages. Yes, the point, as I told you, I was born in Manchester because my parents were studying. So my mother had me when she was 20, and my father the same. They were classmates in high school.
Like you guys.
So but they got married at 20 when they were 20. So, when you get married at 20, it's most probable not to be, long lasting. It's, the chances are few. So, they got divorced and they had other families, and I was the only child from this marriage, let's say. So if I'm looking my mother in Anthea, maybe she has, my mother is a very practical person, so I think that Anthea has some practicality, a practical part, at least when she's doing business. So, maybe I saw this in Anthea, but I don't think that this was the major factor for my decision to be with her for
What was
Yes.
the major factor?
I think that we can share, more or less, we share the same. We like the same movies. We have, she likes my humor, I like her humor. We like the same music, to hang around in the same places. We have common friends. Um, and I think that we communicate. I mean, we understand each other in all the aspects of our needs, let's say. Yeah.
Anthenia, what's your birth order in your family? Are you first, second, third?
I'm first. I have a brother. He's 8 years younger.
So you're both firstborn.
Yeah.
When you have conflicts or disagreements, do they tend to be, is there a pattern, or do you not have conflicts and disagreements?
You're kind of crazy.
Of course we have. And what I'm saying to Anthea is that a great deal of, when kids start crying, Anthea, more than me, is getting more stressed, let's say, and she starts becoming unhappy. So I think that a great deal of our recent fights, let's say, or disagreements, comes from the tension kids are generating. And this is a chain reaction. If the kids feel that you are tense, then they will be cry more. So yes, this is the major factor of our disagreements at the moment, let's say.
And also, I mean, for me, a big issue is the lack of sleep and the amount of tiredness. This makes me very grumpy at times. So this causes fights and tensions. Because in normality, I'm a calm person.
He's laughing.
But past years,
I don't remember this time anymore.
I think we're trying, because I think that the fact when the kids came and all the tiredness came and all the change in the energy changes and all this new situation in the family came. I think that we were in a dark place for a while, and that we worked on it. I did some therapy as well, trying to find out why I'm in this, not ready to pick a fight at all times. And
things got better.
Yeah.
Did you do therapy as a couple or just you? Just you.
Separately,
actually.
And what did you learn from the therapist that you didn't know or to use before?
Actually, I realized that that my way was wrong. The way I was communicating things was wrong, and this would bring the tension. And also that without realizing it, I was not I was not respecting Alex that much the past couple of years. And
you never told me so.
Yeah, and actually the thing is that the things that I wanted to say, I would say them with a very bad way when there is a better way to say the same thing. So that I think that's what I learned.
The classic therapist active listening is to say, I feel because, and I would like da da da, not you always da da da. So is that kind of what the therapist emphasized?
I think that what he said is that no blaming, no shaming, no history.
Uh-huh. Say hi. This is my grandson, Soren.
Hello. I said
These are his friends. No, it's okay. They can meet you.
Actually, I'm the only one here.
Oh, okay.
Hi.
This is Cairo.
I'm here to ask you something.
I'm
here to ask you something.
Wait. What do you want to ask me?
Can I go on a walk with the boys in Upper Park?
Of course. That sounds great.
Yes! Is that a yes, Cairo?
That's what I say,
He's one of a twin. The other boy is a twin. And they're Soren's best friends, and they just live down the street from me, so it's really nice.
That's great.
So that made a difference. Is just thinking about how you expressed in I instead of you kind of language.
Yeah, I try.
No, when you think about it, you torture someone by sleep deprivation. So it's having babies who don't sleep is being tortured. And it's hard to have a loving, happy relationship if you're being tortured.
Yeah. The truth is that I feel that the lack of sleep was building over the years, and I don't think that anyone can understand it if he hasn't experienced it.
I agree.
The way that it can mess up your head.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So now they're sleeping more, so things are getting better. What Masters and Johnson said pair, P-A-I-R, bonding is based on the shared memory of good times. So what do you do as a couple for good times, especially when you have two little kids?
I think our vacations is the good times.
Whenever we travel.
Yeah.
No.
Because we are, the kids are excited, we are happy, and, we can balance it. I mean, we can, traveling with kids, we have to stay indoors more than exploring places because kids need to eat at a certain time, they need to sleep at a certain time.
Yeah,
But then we can, you give some, you get some. So I think that, since we came together by traveling, I think that traveling is something that we...
It's very important for us. I think we are very happy when we are away.
Yeah. During COVID, can you travel at least through Greece?
We traveled during summertime because we didn't have, because during summer I think that COVID was not spreading so much. And the regulations, we didn't have work, we didn't have lockdowns.
You win something, you lose something.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we had a really nice time this summer. We couldn't travel abroad, but still Greece is beautiful during summer times, and we've missed it because we were working during summer times. So I think we had a really nice time this year.
No, it's true.
I had.
Me too.
Yeah.
If you believed in karma, that we attract major relationships and situations to learn lessons, what would you say you've learned from each other, from being together? How have you changed?
Patience. I'm done.
What about you?
This is the relationship of a lifetime because also of its timing and all the facts that it has brought together. So I'm not sure what have changed because of the relationship itself, but it has to do with all the system and everything that we have created together.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, okay, I'm a different person. I don't know if I'm a better person, but I think time will show.
How do you organize cooking, cleaning, housework, especially when you're working a lot and now that you're don't have so many work demands?
Now that we don't have so much work demands, things are much simpler. Since the past year, we've been to the office only, let's say, 1/3 of the days that we should be in a normal year, maybe less.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we also have a lady helping us. So
she cleans.
Yeah.
Cooks.
We're very lucky. It's like it's like a third person, not being two.
Third pair of hands.
Yeah. So I also cook. We also clean, but she has to clean.
My mom also.
Yeah. And I think
a lot.
In general, we are we've she's coming back. We felt that during COVID we are the privileged ones because we have a house that you can be on your own, you can have your own room somewhere. We have enough money for food and protection by masks, and we don't have such stresses. So yeah, I think that especially the first quarantine that we didn't really know what's going on and it lasted for 2-3 months. And we really did the quarantine. I mean, not quarantine, lockdown. I'm sorry. During the first lockdown, we really, appreciated the things we have. Because until then, it was something that you take it for granted. You're working, 12, 14 hours per day. You don't have time to think about how privileged you are, So I think that, during COVID, we had the chance to come together closer to the kids. I mean, for me, it was, before that, it was something heavy on me that I could only see the kids on weekends, because when I was leaving to go to work, actually I would just say good morning, and then when I would come back they would be sleeping already. So we only had weekends, especially with Anai, because it was the first kid, so all the experiences were for the first time. I was amazed how older she was getting from one weekend to the next. So yes, I forgot what was the question, but this is what I had to say.
How you organized housework, childcare, cooking, all that.
With two kids in this age, we have to be three, because someone needs to do the rest. Because, one kid in the age of 3 and the other one in 1, each kid needs a person to take care. So, again, we're privileged to have a person to help us. And, so one person can do the rest or rest, So one person can be free to cook or to clean or to, iron the clothes or, stuff like this. Or, fix things in the house. Or rest. So the other two can run after the other two kids. And, and this also because we have another issue that we're talking a lot with Anthea. During the lockdowns, it's inevitable for the kids to watch TV or videos, or it's inevitable. So at least when we're three at home, we can occupy the kids with other stuff instead of putting both to watch a video. So we can, we're doing it, but we're doing it the less possible, let's say. So yeah.
Does your helper lady come 5 days a week, or how often does she come?
Stays with us.
Oh, she lives with you.
Yeah.
Huh.
She lives with.
And does she have family?
Yes, actually, she's from Georgia. Georgia, the country. And yes, she has a family. Last summer, her daughter was here with us for 3-4 weeks. Yes, she has a husband. Her daughter is like 20, 21 years old. She also has a son of 18. And actually, what she's doing, she's collecting money to renovate her house, and she's going to leave us in a year from now, or more or less. Okay, given the circumstances, we don't know what's going to happen, but the plan is to stay with us for 1 more year until the young one gets to school, more or less. Yeah. So yeah, actually, the practical of this. It's much cheaper and better to have a person staying with you instead of coming every day, or to have a different person to clean or a different person to be with the kids. And the great advantage is that this person is part of the family, so the kids are treating this person as part of the family. And it's a different thing to stay with us, and it's a different thing to come every other day, because they feel that in the stories I'm saying to Vanai for her to sleep, she's always asking to be the 5 of us in adventures and stuff. So she feels that we are a family of 5, because the ladies it's part of the family. So yeah, I think that this works nice for the kids, because they also have another let's say, another income of behavior, another income, another input of behavior, of treating, of So it's good, because I think me and Anthea were very soft, so the lady is more strict. So I think that the kids need also someone to be strict on them, So yes, when they are together, the kids are, playing quietly without breaking things, and when we come in the house, we have a chaos.
That's so true. What about financial planning, paying bills? With your banking background, do you do more of that, or do you share it?
With Anthea, you mean? I do most of it, because I'm also a bit of control freak. I mean, I'm doing it in the company, I'm doing it in the family. Anthea always knows what's going on. In the when we have to take a big decision, of course we're talking about it, and we're taking decisions together. But more or less, Anthea she doesn't like to be so much involved, because it stresses her. So I'm in the position to tell her, this month we can spend so much, so you can spend more or less, or for the next 6 months don't spend so much, because we will not have income, and it goes like that. We are also lucky that both the company and ourselves as well we are helped by the government. So companies that have more employees, and we have 18 at the moment, and loss of income, let's say we had more than 95% this in the past year. there is an algorithm that they are giving you money, 50% is loan, 50% is given. So yeah, it's a good deal. So actually, I think that they understood that it's going to cost them less if they, give some injection of money to the companies so they can stay alive. So these companies will be ready for the next day. Okay, the companies will be there. So when COVID leaves, they will be up and running from day one. Instead of leaving companies die and then new companies have to grow from zero and generate profit. That means generate taxes. So they're going to get their money back through taxation anyway because or they have gotten their money anyway in the past through taxation.
Right. The government at one point was talking about leaving the EU. There was a lot of anger at the central bank for treating Greece like a second citizen, I guess. What's the, and it was I've forgotten the Treasury Secretary Yannis. He became really well known in terms of organizing progressive European-wide organizations. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Again, what's the name?
It starts with a Y. Yantatafos. I don't know how. I don't remember, but he.
Varoufakis. It was the finance minister of the previous government. Yeah, but I think he left. Okay, he was the finance minister for the first part of the previous government. Then there was elections again, and Tsakalotos became the finance minister, who was more, let's say, diplomat. Yeah. But I think that, how can I say it? It's a weird thing that the previous government was a leftist government that, though, was easier for them to impose heavier taxation because they wouldn't have so much unrest. So, because you don't expect from left governments to put more taxes because you believe that they are going to be more social, they did the opposite. They were able to pass harder laws and taxation, and actually they created some government. They say so. They managed to gather 27 billion euros for the government, and what is said is that the government we have now is spending this money in order to support workers and companies. So I really, there was a time in 2012, 2014 that me and Thea were too much involved on the situation, the political and financial, but I think that after a point we got tired and we focused on the company side. So, and on the working, we kind of stopped being, I think most of Greeks got tired of getting, talking about financials and what's going to happen. So I think that from a point onwards, Greeks said that we elected Syriza to be on our side, let's say. They were not on our side, they betrayed us.
Okay, come back and we'll do the Christmas tree. Sorry.
So I think that most of Greeks felt betrayed by Syriza, by the left government. So they turned to Nea Demokratia, which is the right party, the conservatives, let's say. And actually, I think that most of people understood that, especially for financial reasons, for financial legislation, Greece don't really have a saying. I mean, we cannot really do our policies in terms of financial. Okay, we can have our own policies in terms of political of human rights, and so a left government will be more liberal in gay couple marriages or stuff like this, and social stuff. So yes, now that we have a right-wing government, they're more strict. They want to put, police force inside universities, which is a great debate of the days, and But in the financial aspect, they are all following the same policies, because the policies are not made by the Greek government; they're made by European Commission. Or, I don't know.
So Syriza was involved in the uprisings and the, tremendous excitement, and that we're going to have democracy and young people will have the big voice. So all that's kind of collapsed. Is that accurate?
I'll tell you, I think that the greatest example I can say, this is my personal experience of Syriza before they got elected. I mean, there was a Congress of Syriza. It was open, not only for members. So I went there to see what's going on, to approve the governmental policies, let's say. That if we will become government, what will we do? So there were people from all around Greece joined the Congress with their ideas. Each person had brought ideas to discuss and then to vote. And the leadership came with their program, and they said, okay guys, don't talk too much. This is the program. Who wants can vote for it. Who doesn't want can vote against it. So I think that this was a sign of different kind of, doing policies, So I think that at that point, the majority said, okay, let's follow Tsipras, the leader, because what else can we do? And there was a 20% that said, fuck you, we are opposing just because of the way you're doing it, you're treating us. We don't oppose because we have something better to say or something different. What you bring us is good enough. I mean, it's good. We can move forward with this program. But this is against our beliefs. We need to participate in the decision making. So the 20% were, kicked out later, and the others followed Tsipras. The ones that still, believe that the leader has good ideas remained, and the other ones who believe that no, we should do that in a different way, and they didn't have a voice inside the party, they left. So this is my personal, what I experienced. I haven't heard nobody speaking about this, about this Congress at that time. But, this was a sign of, let's go somewhere else. If we want our voice to be heard, maybe we should go somewhere else.
Tsipras was interesting to people because he was in his 30s, and people were excited about having a young leader. Has he just faded away and he's not relevant anymore? Or what became of him?
Okay, I don't blame him. I mean, I like him better than the one we have now. Though Tsipras is okay, he's populist. I mean, he has a gift to feel and sense what the crowd wants to hear, and he will give them that. So if the crowd wants a war with Turkey, he will promote a war with Turkey. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So he can adapt. He's very adaptive. But this is not really what we need. We don't need someone to tell us what we want to hear. We want someone, actually, okay, what I believe that someone has to give in order to become president or to become prime minister is to give a vision to the people. I mean, where do we want to go as a country? Do we want to do this and that and that? If someone is able to give a vision to the people, people will follow. Tsipras at the moment, he hasn't anything to say. I mean, he follows what the prime minister, the current prime minister, is doing, and he's criticizing. But this is not productive. This is counterproductive. So I don't think that any Greek politician at the moment has something to tell us. To tell us. I mean, we had Simitis, 20 years ago. He told us that our national goal is to get into Eurozone. Okay, people vote for him because they said, okay, this is our goal. We are united, we are a nation, we need to have Euro. Okay, let's go for it. Tsipras got elected because he said we need to oppose to the measures, the financial measures imposed by European Union or Germany and stuff. So we are united against those measures. So he got us all, or not all, the majority with him. At the moment, or after this vision, as a country, or we don't have another vision. We don't have something else. Okay, everybody can look after his own family, to take care of the family, have a nice time, blah, blah, blah. But we don't have a clear someone to give us a vision. So me and Anthea were not so interested in, because there's nothing that excites us, that can, makes us feel that we have to contribute in something.
Right. A big problem traditionally has been a lack of good jobs and a brain drain for young Greeks go abroad to find jobs. So I imagine it's not gotten better during COVID in terms of access to jobs.
I think that in terms of COVID, yeah, everything is stuck. But I think that this has become a reality for us. I mean, when this is happening, first happening, it's a shock that people are leaving. But now it's something that, my brother got his architectural, he became an architect. So I found a friend that I have in Denmark, and I told him, do you want to go to Denmark and work as an intern and then maybe find a job there? And he was like, yeah, I want to. So he went there for 3 years, and now he's back because business are coming back in construction, so he's good. But, we could say that Fivos, my brother, was a brain drain for 3 years. But I think that the brain drain also had a good, in Greece we say there is no bad thing without something good, So the brain drain, for Greece, it's something that people traveled, people found jobs, found, relationships in other countries, so they're back, it helped a lot the people to move within the European Union because we can work freely within the European Union. So yes, many people had to leave their families, especially during their 40s or 50s, and go to work somewhere else. I mean, I have one of my best friends, he's German, but his family is in Greece. He couldn't find something in Greece, so he's working in Switzerland, and he's, coming every other weekend to see his family. His kids are 10 years old. But it's okay, Ilya, my friend, is okay. This is my reality. This is the reality in general, that people are traveling. It's not always that you can find a job at the place you stay. So I'm going to Switzerland, I have a better salary there, I'm able to travel, I'm able to support my family better than if I would work in Greece. So, I can balance it, I can put some money aside, and maybe after 5 years, I will take a sabbatical for 2-3 years. So, people got used to the situation that my sister, she's 23, she's in the University of Finance, and she really wants to go and work in Germany. I mean, and not because she wouldn't find a job in Greece, but she really wants to go there. So I don't know. Yeah.
So you're saying, yes, there was a brain drain, but people would come back home and they brought money in the meantime, so it worked.
Yeah, it's a mixture. I mean, Greece is not a place anymore that with so high unemployment rates. And people, even if the unemployment rate is still high, people have found their ways. I mean, I have a friend who started baking cakes for a sweet shop that's selling sweets. So people have found their ways. And Thea, when she got unemployed, she started creating jewelry before the insiders. So every person, if you are active, if you are not depressed about the situation, you will find your way. And I also believe that if insiders at some point close down, we will find our ways. I mean, we won't get lost. We are active. We have knowledge of things. So maybe we will gain less. Maybe we will gain more. Maybe I will have to, to work in Italy or somewhere else. But, we won't be lost.
I think what's different about Greece, too, is people have close family ties. So you can rely on your family to help.
That's true. That's completely true. And, I know that my family or Anthea's family will support us in a bad situation. I mean, this is not a lie, and I will also support my family. The family is Sorry.
These days.
Τι λέει Θοδωρής?
Τίποτα, request game.
Το μεγάλο το request.
Ναι, το πήρα εγώ.
Το πήρες
Sorry, Gail,
No problem. No problem.
The work is coming back. Αυτό το μεγάλο με τα 10 άτομα.
Όχι.
Τι όχι.
Okay, this is a completely different question, but I'm just curious what people are saying about the occupation of the U.S. Capitol and the crazy Trump antics. What are people thinking who are seeing it on news from abroad?
I have all the opinions here. Come on. We have a mixture of opinions. I mean, I can tell you my opinion. I can tell you one of my best friends' opinion, who is a Trump supporter. That there are such people. I also was speaking to my best friend, and he was telling me. I was telling him, have you seen the guy with
the horns? Horns.
Bravo. I don't think he's a supporter of QAnon. What is this QAnon? I will tell you, he told me. The guy who lives in the next house from mine, he's a QAnon supporter. He told me last year, and I was like, what is that? So he told me, I googled it to look what's that. So, this is a world. This is worldwide. It's not only in the States.
Wow.
There are such people everywhere. Such people.
The QAnon, they believe that people like Hillary Clinton and Democrats eat the blood of children. They're pedophiles in some kind of strange tunnels. I mean, it's so without any evidence. I don't get it.
Sorry to say, but for me it's funny. For people believing such things, it's in the sphere of science fiction, and
However, Greeks love conspiracy theories. We are number 2 in the world, something like this. So,
what kind of conspiracies do you hear from the believers besides QAnon?
The standard conspiracy that they have here in Greece is that they say that they spray the clouds with
dumb dumb.
Oh
Dumb
yeah, I've
gases.
heard that one.
Something that
Yeah.
making us dumb.
Yeah,
There is
chemicals
little-
that make and that will hurt a lot of people and reduce the
Oh.
population.
Yeah, we had a party in the government that were, not directly supporting, but like Trump, he's not directly supporting, but he's, yeah.
Wow. Okay, last question. What advice would you give to a young couple who is getting married? Tell them you really think about this and this based on what we've learned. What would your advice be?
To be patient and to be able to, to make some sacrifices in order to make some, it's something that in order to get, you have to give. So you have to sacrifice some of your needs and some of your things you want.
Like sleep.
In order to have a balance, you give some, you get some. Yeah.
Give and take.
I don't know. I don't feel that
You have to compromise. This is the word. You have to compromise on.
I think this is a key word, although I'm not sure if I'm the person to give advices. Okay.
Why not?
What would I say? Well, I would say enjoy the ride. I mean, wherever it gets. They will get out, they will be wiser for sure, no matter, the path.
I like that. Enjoy the ride. That's a good image. Anything else that we've left out in terms of how to make a marriage work over time?
We need this advice.
What? What was that?
We need someone to give us this advice.
Oh. I sent you the Calm Parents book. That'll help. Okay. What did I do? I turned off the wrong thing. I'm sorry. I'm